Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another episode of Vault of the Vampire, which I started playing last week, and I didn't get very far. It seems I have missed quite a few things along the way. And so I am going to start from the beginning again and see where that leads me. So exciting stuff. And right now, of course, very suitably, I'm also in the middle of reading Bram Stoker's interesting book, Dracula, and which is obviously one of the inspirations for this book, or the inspiration for the inspiration of this book, possibly because so many other works of art, books, films, etc., have been inspired, obviously, by Bram Stoker's Dracula. Right, so I'm going to just get started and move the view to my desk, if you can find the right button. There it is. I got my supplies ready, got my dice, which I'll probably ignore. I got my book, got pencil, pen. Yeah, we'll see what we need along the way. I might need a red pen as well, just to denote something as a place where one shouldn't go. And just to do this at the start of the video, if you like my videos, if you want to support my channel, you can like, share, comment, subscribe, join me on Patreon, all those things. Buy my poetry collections on Amazon, buy my stuff on eBay. Many of the books you see behind me are actually currently for sale on eBay, or will be for sale on eBay. This is my tiding shelves, mostly behind me there. There's one shelf that has stuff that I'm not selling at the moment, but yeah, there will be more stuff added to eBay as I go through my book collection and declutter, as it were. Right, I'm just going to get started then on the book. So let's see. So in this one, in addition to your normal abilities of skill and stamina and luck, you also have a faith. Is it faith score they call it? Did I not make a note of this? I thought I made a note of this somewhere. Maybe I made a note of it somewhere else than I had. So I do believe my faith score was supposed to be 3 plus a roll of the dice. Did I roll a 5 or something? Let's just do faith 8. Let's see what happens. Okay, so obviously, in this book, you are supposed to fight a vampire, which isn't easy, even at the best of times. Let's just do the background again. Let's do the background. My focus is okay. I moved it a little bit further down again today, so just to see if I could get a good compromise, so you can both see the book and the map in the back, and I think this is about as good as it gets. I hope that's okay for you. So we have here. Oh, just one more thing. I just realized that I do need my reading glasses. At least it will improve my vision enough that I can see better what I am reading. I would be able to read without it, but without them. But yeah, it is easier. So there you go. Rumors of great wealth and treasure have lured you west of Femfrey in the old world to the forbidding land of Moristatia, home of unscalable peaks clad in ice and snow, obscured by great swathes of freezing mist. The air is cold and damp, and you are dressed in furs to keep out the chill. Hunched in a swaying coach heading north towards Mordvania, you wonder whether any of the rumors you have heard have any truth in them. People hereabouts are poorly fed and clothed, and this hardly seems a place of great riches. Still, perhaps that means that the treasures are still hidden, and that the local folk haven't found them. I'm actually, I probably had mentioned this before, but I don't really like. To me, it's quite anemic as a motivation for a character to be on the search where the main motivation is just to get gold. It never does it for me at all. I don't think it's just and it's like the easiest cop-out MacGuffin ever. That sort of, yeah, the whole motivation of this character is this person is doing it for the treasure and the gold and the wealth. Yeah, no, I don't buy that for a moment. Anyway, you are aroused from your reverie as the coach creaks to a halt. The coachmen open the doors and begin lowering trunks and bags from the roof. You step out into a murky twilight. A thick winter fog is drawing in round the little coaching village of Lieferhelfen, where you will rest tonight. The tavern is small and hardly luxurious, but the food is hot and the mulled wine is spiced and refreshing. But the local people, wary of strangers, talk little. After you enter, the tavern door is barred and the windows are already shuttered. The place has a strange name, the Heart's Blood. But this doesn't look like hunting country, except for those seeking bears or wolves for their pelts. You ask the tavern keeper how the inn got its name, and a deathly hush descends in the room. He turns away, refusing to speak to you. You wonder how a polite and innocent question can have made him react in such a way. What's more, a man sitting by the fire turns round and spits at your feet. An old woman swathed in shawls and a peasant smock looks over at you and says, "Foreigners don't know no better." You take her over a drink and ask her to tell you more. It's a bit weird, but it's almost like this lady is supposed to sort of talk Cockney. But again, I'm going to try with the full Transylvanian accent. So foreigners don't know no better. You take her over a drink and ask her to tell you more. At least she is talking to you, which is more friendly than anyone else in here is. She gobs greedily at the warm wine. "It ain't no heart's blood, stranger. We're never called that till they changed the sign outside. It is the heart's blood. See? Heart. That's what too many folk round here has given up. Their heart's blood." The low murmur of voices that had begun once more is completely silenced. Many people are casting fierce looks at you, and the old woman and the barman bellows at her to be silent. But her face is flushed with the warmth and the wine, and she says she will not be unheard. "It is the Count. Damn his black heart. Folk vanish from the village, they do, and are never seen again. The Count takes them up to the castle, to be sure, and there they die a terrible death. Terrible. There's folk as have heard the screams from the place, screams as from the souls in hell itself." Now tears run down her old weathered face. "Didn't he take my granddaughter only yesterday? Didn't we see the coach and the headless horseman in the village? My poor little Nastasia, such a beautiful, gentle girl, taken by the fiend himself, and not a man in this God-forsaken place brave enough to go to the castle and save her." Embarrassed voices murmur round the room as sparks fly from the fire. The crackling of the burning wood seems to emphasize the old woman's desperate plea. "I beg you, sir, to rescue her. She is only 17, and she has done no harm to anyone." She bursts into tears again. A tall, red-haired man gets up from a table opposite and approaches you. You see he has only one arm, the right sleeve of his tunic being pinned up to his chest. "Stranger, I take you for a wanderer, a seeker after adventure. What old Svetlana says is true. The Count is a terrible and evil soul, and Castle Heidrich is a place of horror. I would have tried to slay him myself, but for one obvious reason." You nod as he glances down at his empty sleeve. "Will you help us? From my own days as a warrior, I have some gold put by, and it's yours gladly if you will help." The eyes of all present turn to you, imploring your assistance. You are about to nod your agreement to this proposal when the door of the tavern bursts open. The people inside cry out in fear as an icy blast whips through the room. Outside in the mist you can make out a black coach with 4 jet-black steeds prancing and whinnying, and in the doorway stands a spectral figure. Bony fingers extend from black sleeves, and he beckons you, but he says nothing. How could he? He has no head. Now turn to paragraph 1. Okay, so that is the introduction, and let's see how this goes. So, you follow the beckoning figure outside into the swirling mists. It leaps up to the driver's seat of the black coach, and the carriage door swings open. The steeds prance expectantly, their breath steaming in the cold air. Will you attack the headless horseman, get in the coach, or ignore the coach and ask a local person how to get to the castle? Hang on, is this the right map? This isn't the right map, is it? I just realized this is actually the map from previous. Then the question is, where is the right map? So that is my first puzzle of the day, is to actually go and find the right map. Just give me one moment. Ah, okay. Yes, that was the map from the previous book that I was playing. Obviously not the right one. I'm just going to swap them over now. Let's see, move that out of the way. I'll tidy that afterwards. Okay. So, 3 different options. And that also explains why it didn't say my faith score on this map, because it says right here, faith 8, and of course it went up to 9 earlier, but we'll see if we get it up to 9 again. So, yes, so it doesn't make any sense for me to attack this character. To walk sounds very dangerous, but with wolves and bears being around. So I'm going to follow him and go with him in the coach and see where that gets me. You clamber into the coach, and the horses set off at a gallop, making no sound as they move. You settle back into a comfortable seat, draped in black. Looking through the heavy purple-curtained windows, you see nothing outside but thick, swirling fog. But the wolf howls you hear send shivers down your spine. Roll 1 die and add 2 to the number rolled. If the total is less than or equal to your faith, turn to 223. It is less than or equal, so I'm going to 223 again. I'm going to roll the dice for this faith thing, probably. Let's see. Suddenly you feel a chill inside the carriage, and there, slowly appearing before you, is a ghost. The spectral shape of a tall man with wavy black hair and green eyes, his figure almost covered by a voluminous black and purple cloak, sits smiling opposite you. The Count is expecting you, he smirks, although your stay will be a very short one, I fear. He sits back and continues to smile in the leering, mocking way. Then the carriage lurches abruptly, and the ghostly apparition springs forward at you. Roll 1 die and add 4 to the result. The total is less than or equal to your faith. Yes, again, it is less than my faith. 321 is the paragraph to which I turn. The spectral creature lunges at you, but his hands stop short of your neck, and he hisses in frustration. Your faith has protected you from his attack. He wraps his cape about him and simply vanishes. Increase your faith by 1 point. So that is back to the 9 that I had in my previous playthrough. You continue your journey safely until the coach stops at the foot of a hill, and you descend. The coach races off into the heavy mists and is soon out of sight. Turn to 362. You walk along as far as the base of a narrow trail which leads up a steep incline, and suddenly you walk out of the fog into a completely clear area. Starkly illuminated by the 3/4 moon stands the brooding Castle Heidrich. You can walk up and enter the half-open front gates, or walk around the outside to see what you can make of the place. So last time I walked around the outside, and it sort of gave me a clue to a place that I should check out, but it wasn't clear to me once inside exactly where I should go to get there. So I'm just going to ignore that now and just randomly move around and see. I'll skip that bit. So there was an indication that there was some good inside the walls, something that was worth checking out, something to do with the North Tower. But once inside, again, it wasn't really clear exactly how to get there, I feel. So I'm going to just explore by making different choices now for where to go than I did last time. So you put your shoulder to the heavy wooden gates and they open with a creak, which sets your nerves on edge. You walk through a small entrance area into a large courtyard. Facing you, you observe great brass decorated doors across the courtyard and past the entrance to what looks like a family crypt. There are also 2 doors to the west of you and a door just around the corner which opens into a southern part of the main building. Will you head for the brass doors to the north, open the door in the south, upper west, lower west, or head for the crypt? So last time I went with the north doors, or the main doors. So I'm not going to go with those this time. I'm going to start for the crypt, actually, because obviously it might be a place that has some clues to what's going on and how to deal with it. I'm just guessing wildly now. The crypt has a stone entrance with steps leading down. Hideous gargoyle heads with fiendish grins stare balefully down at you, and the heavy iron railing gates are firmly locked. Behind you, you hear snarls somewhere behind the doors to the west and decide not to investigate these, but will you try to force the gates to the crypt, open the southern door in the courtyard if you have not already done so, or head for the brass doors to the north? So interestingly, it actually now I am given fewer options for where to go next. So I am getting the option of forcing the doors, 1 for 1, or go to number 18, or number 2. These other options here are now off the table, which is interesting. So that means there might be something important there that I now will have missed. But I'm going to try to force the gates of the crypt now and see if that helps. The gates are made of solid, inch-thick iron bars. You cannot open them. Roll 1 die and add 2. Yep. If the total is less than or equal to your faith, turn to 192. That's a lot of faith checks here. If it is greater than your faith, turn to 243. So 243 or 192. So that was less or equal or less than or equal to my faith, and that was 192. Your efforts to penetrate the crypt don't go unnoticed. Drifting up the steps comes a tiny, dwarf-like spectral figure, black and almost featureless. You can sense the chilling evil in the atmosphere which cloaks it. Its tiny black claws reach out for you. Will you fight the shadow, run to the south doors, or run to the northerly brass doors? So, again, the options are the same as the previous one. Now, fighting the shadow sounds a bit scary. So, I mean, it sounds like that's something that you really shouldn't be doing. And do you even have a weapon that can injure a spectral being like this? I'm going to save my game, which means that if 292, fighting the shadow, turns out to be a disaster, I'm going to go back here and make a different choice. Because it says, do you have a magic sword? So obviously, which is interesting, by the way, already by this time, you may have been able to get a magic sword, which means the magic sword that seems to be an essential item to defeating the Count and other beings in this particular game is already available here in the courtyard. And I think that it's impossible to win this game without it, or it certainly seems that way. So, magic sword, yes or no? So, let's see, magic sword. Let's see, 388 or 340. 340 No magic sword. So I'm going to go to 340 because I don't have a magic sword. You can't fight the shadow without a magical weapon. You run for the brass doors to the north. Shadow strikes you once in the back, lose 2 stamina points, but it doesn't follow. Turn to 2. So that actually reduced our options further. Only being able to go through the brass doors. I'm thinking that I really need to check out these other places in the courtyard. So I'm going to go back to a previous save, as it were, and check out these other ones, especially these ones that you can't. I'm just going to play it pragmatically now, that you are not given, no more given an option to check out once you get here. So I'm going to check out, let's see, 326. I'm just going to go back to 326. So the options were upper west, lower west, door in the south, and brass door in the north. So the ones that are, once you make this decision to check out the crypt, the first ones off the table are the west doors. Now there's a sound there as if there is something, but that may not be a problem necessarily. I'm going to check out the lower west and see what is there. You open the doors into a wolf pen, and 2 large wolves glower at you and lick their lips. Will you attack the wolves, shut the door and get away, search for something to use against the wolves other than your sword? Which is a strange kind of... So presumably something that can be found in here, I suppose. So 3 options. So 103 attack, 152 shut, and 299. Now the fact that there is a search option there leads me to think that there is something to find. So it might be a red herring, but I'm going to try to search for something to use. Well, it looks like search actually meant rummage around in your backpack, because the options are, what will you use? If you have one of them, will you try garlic or the Count's amulet, or keep the wolves or will you try throwing food to them? Right. So basically search is not really the right word. What it meant is use an item. So I'm going to go like so. But again, this indicates to me that by this time you will have been able to find the Count's amulet, garlic, as well. So obviously there is a lot of stuff going on here in the courtyard that I really missed last time by going through the front door. I'm guessing that the Count's amulet will be in the crypt, but in order to get into the crypt, you first need to find the magic sword. So it sounds to me like the correct order of things here is find the sword first of all, get into the crypt, get the amulet, maybe some other things there, and then do the other stuff. Let's see. 349. Of course, garlic doesn't work. Also, would you have been able to find garlic yet? That is amazing. Why would there even be garlic in the castle of a vampire? There wouldn't be. There would definitely not be garlic anywhere. 398 amulet, or 39 food. So what I'm going to do is, well, I suppose I presume I have some provisions. Would be daft not to, so I'm going to try to throw them some food and go to 39. The wolves stop to eat the food. Deduct 2 meals from your provisions. You close the door behind you. Now, will you head for the crypt, open the northerly brass doors, or open the door to the south? Now, it does sound like it really wants you to go. You are given several options to go to the south here. I'm hoping that is maybe throwing us a bit of a bone. And this time I'm going to check out the south. You open the door. It is very dark within, and you need your lantern to see by. Peering in, you can make out sacks of grain and some scurrying rats. There is a door in the west wall of this storeroom. Will you move to the west door in the storeroom, leave and approach the crypt, leave and approach the north doors? So you get the option of going to the crypt or north, or go to 67, which is the west door in the storeroom, which is obviously what I'm going to do now. You are just getting close to the door when the rats start to squeak. Then they rush forward to attack you. There are too many for you to fight. You can either open the west door and go through, or retreat back into the courtyard. I thought I was just going to the west door. Or was just approaching the west door, maybe. So courtyard. Let's see where I put this. I put this over here actually, because I'm running out of space on my map now for things. So I'm going to use a 115 west door, or 163 retreat. So I'll just have to go through the west door, I suppose. You fling open the door and then slam it shut behind you to keep the squeaking horde at bay. You find yourself in a dusty chamber with a wooden spiral staircase leading upwards. It is dark and cobwebbed, so you need your lantern to see by. I don't know why they keep pointing that out, because, I mean, if you have your lantern, you have your lantern. If there's been an option to lose your lantern, then you wouldn't be able to see, so, yeah. As you head towards the filth-encrusted wooden steps, 2 man-like figures loom out of the shadows. The stench of death is strong about them, and their half-rotting hands clutch rusted swords. Roll 1 die and add 2. I roll 2. If the total is less than or equal to your faith, etc. So I'm going to put these options over here. So 2117 or 265, faith or no faith. So I had enough faith to successfully check for it there. These zombies, as you can see, these pathetic things must be, hesitate and allow you time to dash up the stairs without having to fight. Turn to 311. I quite like that. It actually makes for a more interesting game when fights are something that can sometimes be avoided. Right, up the stairs, 311. So I'm going to move down there, 311. The stairs end at a landing where you come to a door of black wood embellished with runes inlaid in silver. As you try to open it, the handle turns into a claw and grasps your wrist. "Leave this place," the door intones sonorously. "You're not allowed in here." The claw releases your hand. A talking door. You can try to get past it or give up and go back to the courtyard. Three, 4, 2, or back to the courtyard. 3, 8, 8, 0. Well, I'll just have to try getting past it, surely. You hammer on the door with the hilt of your sword to avoid damaging its blade. The door retaliates by jabbing you firmly in the midriff with a metal doorknob. Eventually you break the door down, but you have to take some damage in the process. Roll 1 die. Just for fun, because I'm not keeping track. I got a 5. The number rolled is the number of stamina points you lose before you manage to smash the door down. Beyond, the stairs continue upwards, and you see the dim outline of a bell tower. You can also hear a high-pitched squeaking and fluttering. You can either press on upwards or go back down to the courtyard. So I'm going to press on to see what the bats are up to. As you enter the bell tower, a flock of bats rise up and start swarming in the air in front of your face. You must test your luck. Just for fun, I got a 4. That's definitely lucky in absolutely any situation whatsoever. Turn to 86. Okay, so okay, 86. 1, 3, 3. Lucky. So I was lucky, and I go to 86. You swing your lantern around and drive the bats off. They fly squeaking out into the enveloping blackness of the night. You see before you in the dirty bell tower some old bronze bells and one silver bell which seems to glow with a very faint blue light. Roll 1 die and add 3. Okay, if the total is less than or equal to your faith, actually it would be regardless now, a turn to 179. Okay, so we have... So 179. If the total is greater than your faith, go to 233. So 179. The silver bell radiates a sense of goodness to you. You look it over carefully, and inside the bell you find a name etched. Siegfried Heydrich. Although it could raise an alarm, on impulse you ring the bell. Turn to 280. The clapper strikes the silver bell soundlessly, and a sudden shock runs through your body. You feel light-headed and half-swooning. A majestic figure stands radiant in the air before you, clad in shining chainmail, bearing a shield of the purest white with a great red cross, and holding a magnificent longsword stands the shade of Siegfried Heydrich, former Count of the Castle in happier times. He stands just under 7 feet tall, and his flowing blonde locks frame his noble, smooth-complexioned and flawless face. The apparition speaks. Cleanse this place of shame and horror, brave warrior. My brother slew me by treachery, and I call on you to restore our good name and free the people from Reiner's thrall. In this place he has hidden my armor, my shield, and my great sword, Nightstar. I know not where they are, but I do know that a lesser magical blade, that of my faithful vassal Michael, is hidden below this tower. It is to be found in a secret chamber below a hidden trapdoor at the base. Go now, my friend, and destroy the dread evil of this castle. Then the ghost is gone. Okay, so now I have some objects that it sounds like I should be looking for. The armor, the shield, and the sword. 337. So all these things I missed last time I was playing, so that is quite interesting. So obviously going through the front door, terrible idea, because you're missing out on half the book by the sound of it. You make your way down the stairs with renewed vigor and faith. Gain 1 faith, so I'm actually up to 10 now. And 1 luck point. At the base of the bell tower, you find the concealed trapdoor and retrieve the sword Siegfried described. Add the magic sword to your possessions. The magic sword is not a powerful one. It does not add anything to your skill when you use it. However, creatures are lurking about which can be hurt only by magical weapons. So the sword is very valuable. Also, when you tell it to do so, it will shine brightly in the dark, so you will not need to use your lantern again. If that is relevant, I don't know, it might be. Now you return to the courtyard, so turn to 380. So 380, so that is, okay, so 3, that's the sword, magical sword, and then we go to 380. Back in the main courtyard, you can investigate the crypt if you haven't already done so, or head for the main north doors. So now I'm going to imagine that I hadn't checked out the crypt, and also I can't see why I can't check them out again. So I'm going to check out the crypt. And of course, we know that there is a locked gate, and I'm going to try to force the gates again, this time 141. And roll faith. Yep, faithful. And 192. Because now we get to the point where it says you get to find the shadow and you can fight it, and this time I will be able to fight it because I have a magical sword. So so I fight the shadow, 292, and then I have a magic sword and I go to 388. So this makes a big difference. Also, not having a magic sword last time was exactly what was my demise. Now it does sound like because of what Siegfried said now, that you actually do need to get not just this magical sword, you need to actually find the other one to defeat the counts. So again, we have a shopping list, it seems, in this book. You have to find the sword, the armor, and the shield. So it's a set, isn't it? Right, 388. The shadow is not easy to hit, but with your magic sword you can at least damage it. If you win, you can either investigate the door to the south or check the brass doors to the north. So, okay, so going to the crypt has absolutely no bearing on anything in that case. Which means that the only thing that was useful here is, well, I suppose, I mean, there is a chance there's still something left here in the upper west door that I haven't checked out, but I suppose I'm happy for now. I think I've found the only thing down here that is essential, it seems, which is the magic sword. There might be garlic, there might be something else around here, but I'm thinking that is not essential. So in that case, I'm happy to keep going. So I'm going to go to paragraph 2. You push open the brass doors and walk into a well-lit entrance hall which is deserted. Floor mosaics and wall hangings of plain black and red give the chamber a somber appearance, and for a moment you think you heard a faint moaning sound. There are 3 exits from the hall. So, last time I went through the door in the north. I'm going to try the east or the west now. I'm going to try the west door and go to paragraph 60. You open the door into a dusty, cobwebbed storage chamber that is full of lumber. If you search here, you could possibly be surprised by someone entering the main hall. So whether you search the storage room, leave here and open the north door, leave here and follow the east passage. So that is, I can go into the other rooms there, or 110, check out the storage room. I'm going to check out the storage room because that's the only difference from what I have had as options before. Roll 2 dice, skill check. I'm going to succeed in doing that because I've decided I will. 156 or 214. Okay. You make a lucky find in the middle of all the junk. A crystal vial with a silver filigree banding worth 4 gold pieces. Okay. So silver, so 156. Well, there was a point, wasn't there, where you could actually purchase things. So yeah. Anyway, you return to the entrance hall, and here you can open the north door or take the east passage. So last time I took the north door. I'm going to try the east passage this time. 256 to make a point of trying something new. Along the eastern passageway there is a door to the north, and the passageway turns south just beyond it. There is another door facing you at the junction of the east and south corridors. Will you open the north door, open the door facing you, or follow the corridor around to the south? None of these are things that I've seen before, it looks like. So I'm going to have a very, very squashed map, but I will live, because 305 north door, 351 east door, or 166. I'm going to check out the north door, 305. You walk through into a lounge with rich imported carpets of intricate design, sumptuously comfortable armchairs and tables bearing silverware and lace. There are 3 gilt-framed paintings on the east wall, and you decide to go over and look at them. One shows a tall, handsome man with black hair, tapering to a peak over his forehead and deep green eyes. The plaque below reads Count Rainer Heydrich. The second shows a strikingly attractive young woman with flowing curly black hair and the same striking green eyes. She is wearing a black flowing dress and emerald jewelry. The plaque below this picture reads Katharina Heydrich. The third painting has no plaque and has been defaced, although you can see that it once showed an exceptionally tall, smooth-faced blonde man. Do you have a magic sword? So again, this is going to be a pivotal item, I think. Yes and no. I'm going to just move my options over here now, just to make my map even more hard to read. So 355 sword or 49. No, I do have a magic sword. I go to 355. You recognize the defaced portrait as that of Siegfried Heydrich, and you storm out of the room in anger at this desecration. You can open the door at the junction of the east and south corridors, or follow the corridor south. Okay. So that takes us back to the other options here. So check out the east door as well. Why not? 351. Opening the door, you hear sizzling and it's a bit of a strange reaction, though, isn't it? Why would you just storm out of the room just because a portrait has been defaced? Wouldn't you still check out the room? It doesn't make any sense. Opening the door, you hear sizzling and spitting noises. Peering carefully around the half-open door, you see an extraordinary assembly of vessels, jars, containers, and instruments of brass, iron, and glass standing on tables and shelves. Oil burners keep vessels of cloudy, bubbling liquids on the boil, and there is a strange, metallic, acid smell. Watching you closely is a small green winged humanoid creature sitting on a shelf on the wall. That's this guy up here, I suppose. It is playing with a small bronze wand which sparkles and crackles. You could try attacking it, whatever it is, or try talking to it, which seems more like me to do. So I'm going to put my options up here. So there is attack 3-6 or talk. The little creature asks you if you have come to see his master. You nod in mute agreement. Well, don't you stand there. Go on in. He's not too busy. I'm sure the potions will soon be ready. You realize that this is an alchemist's laboratory and that this small winged creature is a magical creature, a homunculus. It gestures you to a door to the south, which you open. Turn to 118. You enter a large room filled with all sorts of strange equipment. Tables and charts showing the planets in the heavens, varieties of herbs, rock formations, and lots else besides. All this is strewn over benches and desks, pinned to the walls and even scattered over the floor. Sitting at one desk is a white-haired, tall, thin man with pince-nez glasses, perched precariously on his beaked nose. He is poring over some intricate diagrams and muttering to himself. He looks up at you. Pleased to meet you, I suppose. I am Karl-Heinz that would be Matthias, alchemist in residence. Something I can do for you? He appears unarmed and looks like a kindly old man. He looks back at his work, clearly not interested in you. Will you attack him, engage him in conversation, or leave through the door in the west wall of this room? Okay. So, obviously, 251 attack. 373 leave, or 205 talk. So I'm going to engage him in conversation, if that is possible. The alchemist says little, although he does tell you that he is employed by Katarina, the Count's sister, to prepare potions and powders which enable her to keep her youthful appearance, together with another treatment which Karl-Heinz seems deliberately to avoid mentioning. Katarina looks very young for a woman of 76, he mutters laconically. You can't really ask about the Count and how to kill him. Karl-Heinz might tell someone what you're up to, and there's little else you can get out of him, but he could be helpful to you if you have the major lycanthropy affliction. If you do, turn to 318. If you don't, you leave through the west door in this room. So, okay. So 3. So 373. Back in the corridor, you can open a door on the west side opposite the alchemist room if you haven't done so before. 240. 240. Or go to the far southern end of the passage and open the door there. Turn to 252. I'm just wondering if... I haven't seen a 240 before. This was an east door. Is there a west door? Is that back where I came from? I'm wondering if this is sort of semi-open world bit, which is a bit confusing potentially if you do a mapping like I do, which is of course just based on the paragraphs rather than the actual topology of the place. I'm not going to check out 240. That is not where I've been before, is it? No, that is a different place altogether. So, okay, I'm going to check out the 240 door, the door across there. So you open the door into a suite of rooms that are cluttered with cushions, papers, toys, pictures, and all sorts of debris strewn all over the place. Marching up and down, clad in an ill-fitting blue military uniform and with a ridiculous tricorn hat, is a disheveled young man with long, flowing black hair and green eyes. So green eyes, again, that's the sort of family feature, it sounds like. He mutters nonsensically to himself and does not seem to have noticed you enter. He certainly seems rather lacking in his wits. Will you attack him, enter, leave, etc., etc.? It gives me option of going to 252 to 118. Also, two further options, which is to attack him or talk. 288. So I'm going to talk to this guy, see what he is up to. Roll one die. One. If the number rolled is 1, turn to 151. If the number rolled is 6, turn to 322. If you roll any other number, so that is interesting. Because now I don't actually know which is a good number or which is a bad number. 151, 322, 202. 151 is 1, 322 is 6, and other. Let's see, 151. I suppose it's just random what he does. You are in luck. Wilhelm Heydrich, the poor idiot cousin of the Count, is fairly lucid today. So 1 is the good number. He is happy to have a guest, and soon you are drinking an Alandian sherry as Wilhelm talks about his cousin. He won't have a mirror in the place, will he? He is terrified of a silver mirror. I've no idea why. There is one in the relaxation room just beyond the dining room, and you'll never find Rainer lurking in there. Oh no. Okay, so that's a clue there. I want to see if I can find the mirror in the relaxation room beyond the dining room. So maybe I'll make a note of that. So 151. So find mirror. No, there's nothing called a relaxation room, is there? I mean, the room beyond the dining room where you relax is called a drawing room. It almost sounds like somebody translated this from a different language and didn't get it right. So the drawing room is where there might be a mirror beyond dining room. So he gulps greedily at the fortified wine, and then old Siegfried's stuff frightens the living daylights, and then old Siegfried's stuff frightens the living daylights out of him. Well, it's not quite the living daylights, is it? The sword, you know, he's especially frightened of that. He did it himself after he did away. No, he hid it himself after he did away with Siegfried in a book, believe it or not. Don't know about the armor, but he took the shield up into the tower down there. He points to the corridor. Wilhelm is drinking heavily now and beginning to ramble. Okay, so this is really, really good hints here. So, sword in a book, armor, this shield. No, sorry, shield. Tower. Okay, which leads us to 252. Okay, so so I'm actually making progress today, which is very good. 252. You open the door and the dark, musty odor of stale air greets you. You must use your lantern to see unless you have a magic sword. And now you realize that you are at the foot of the southeast tower. Roll 1 die and add 3. Yeah. Faith again is with me. Let's see, 1 and 2. Okay. Okay, 330 or 360. 330 because I managed to successfully check for my faith. Drifting into the chamber from a grill set into the floor is a smoky apparitional figure radiating a hideous chilly malice. A wraith. Roll 1 die and add 3. Yep. Again, it's a faith roll. Okay, and 1, 2, 4, 44. Faith. Just double checking I did not write now. 252. Yeah, so you're actually checking faith twice in a row. I just thought that was a bit odd, but there you go. You actually did do that. 44. At the moment, faith sounds like the most important ability of all. The wraith shrinks back from you, its wispy clawed arms grabbling at the air close by your face, but your faith protects you. Now you see a wooden spiral staircase leading upwards in this bare and dusty chamber. You could easily escape the wraith that way. However, since it is an evil thing, you would prefer to destroy it. You have heard, though, that only a magical weapon can harm a wraith, so if you don't have one, it could be dangerous to attack it. Would you attack the evil wraith, ascend the staircase, return to the entrance hall, and open the north door there? So that is faith. So attack. Let's see. I'm just going to put these up here. This map is going to get so messy. Okay. 83. Attack. 316. Ascend. Or 101. Return. Oh, 101. Oh, actually, 101 is it's over here. So all the way over here. Okay. So I'm going to ascend 316. You ascend the narrow, steeply sloping wooden stairs until you come to a landing before a wooden door which is barred and decorated with warding glyphs of amber and silver. Something is scratching on the other side of the door. There is a distinctly unpleasant charnel smell here. You can summon your courage and open the door, or retreat downstairs back to the hall. Yes, I'm just going to open the door, obviously. 390. You open the door and gaze into a low-ceilinged room with some narrow stone steps visible on the other side. Bones and horrifying bloodied lumps of flesh and gristle lie around the room, and the occupant, a huge ghoul, intends that you should be his next feast. Roll 1 die and add 4. That's a faith check, and of course I will be successful. 30 or 70. Okay, so we have... okay, 30 and 70. Faith. No. Okay. The monstrously large ghoul backs away from you, spittle drooling over its blackened stumps of teeth. You can ascend the stone stairs opposite the door or attack the retreating ghoul. So, usually not a good idea to attack a ghoul. Now, I can see what was mentioned in the introduction. It said that avoiding combat was probably a good way to go to succeed in this book, and it is. You need strong faith, and you can actually avoid a lot of combat. 159. Ascend. You climb the stone steps, cobwebbed and filthy, past growths of mold and fungus on the walls, and ascend to the top of the tower. Moonlight streams into the circular chamber through tinted glass, and it seems almost as if the shadows in this place are skulking and watching. Opposite you, bathed in moonlight, is a young girl, sprawled across a chair, bound by her wrists and ankles with a mesh of fine cobwebs. But they could be a lot stronger than they look, perhaps even magical. She is very pretty indeed, with long curly auburn hair and a fine, smooth complexion. Roll 1 die and add 4. So again, that's going to be an automatic because my faith is 10 still. So yeah. And again, faith test. So faith tests all over the place in this one. Okay. Okay, 269. There's a message on my phone I need to reply to soon. Okay, 225, 269. No, faith. 225. All right. Go. You sense both a strong good and a strong evil in this chamber, but you're uncertain which impression comes from which area. So the good is probably the shield, which should be here somewhere, and the evil might be the girl. 269. Looking at the sleeping girl, will you try waking her up, searching the room, or leaving and returning to the North Hall? Okay, so okay, 301. Search 36. So I'm going to search the room because I know I'm looking for the shield. You start to look around for secret alcoves, trapdoors, and the like, and you turn your back on the girl. She rises from her resting place, and you are about to get a very nasty surprise. 10 to 62. So it sounds like you really should be waking her first, but there you go. 62. Suddenly the girl stands upright, arms outstretched, with her head thrown back. She screams. Roll 1 die and add 4. That's still a success. By default still. 150. Faith. 195. No. You are now fighting a direly evil undead creature in the Bhuvan Sith, I suppose. The Bhuvan Sith cast a spell at you. Determine whether you or the Bhuvan Sith has the higher attack strength for this attack round. The Bhuvan has a skill of 9. If you have the higher attack strength, you strike her and spoil her spell. Turn to 2963 to finish the fight. Okay. So 263. The evil magic wielder smiles as she draws a razor-sharp dagger, its blue crystalline blade set into a silver handle. She is very nimble and swift and dodges your blows. She will not be easy to overcome. She only got a skill of 9. How can she be that swift and nimble? Anyway, if you win, you can search the players. Turn to 324. Yeah. 324. If you have the lycanthropy affliction, turn to 7. If you have the okay, I don't have neither. Turn to 51. Let's see, 7, 3, 6, 8, 51. I do think that the problem about books where you can actually skip bits that are not linear is, of course, that your map turns into a complete mess, because I'm still down here and I'm now up here on my map, and there's still stuff going on here I haven't mapped yet. So yeah. Anyway, checking carefully, you find a small secret door in one wall. It conceals a wall alcove from which you draw out a white shield with a red cross. This is the Shield of Faith. Gain 1 faith point, which is now up to 11. And 1 luck point for finding it, and add it to your possessions. Now you must leave the tower, go to the entrance hall, and open the north door there. So turn to 101. So 101. Okay. So that brings us back here. So I found the shield. So shield is achieved. So I'm going to read paragraph 101, but I think that's going to be enough for today. It's a good place, it sounds like, to take a break, and also need to respond to this message that I just got. You push open the north door in the entrance hall and see a brightly lit corridor stretching out before you. The floor is tiled and there are small watercolor paintings hung on the walls. Before you there is a door on the east wall, and further along, one on the west wall. Between the two there is a side passage to the east. There's also a door facing you at the north end of the corridor. So, yes. So it looks like I've sort of been most places here now. So I think this is, yeah, yes. So this is where I'm going to go back and see where I will go from here, and see if I can find something different to last time. Right, so I think that's a good starting point. Last time I found a book of healers over here, so obviously that is something that is valuable, and I needed a silver key to get in here. I haven't found a silver key yet, so I'm going to go east or west, I think, next time, and check out those places. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm actually quite enjoying this one. One thing I'm really enjoying about this is that there's quite a bit of focus on avoiding combat when it isn't needed, and I think that actually adds to the immersion and the atmosphere of the game as well. That you don't necessarily have to stop the flow of the narrative to roll dice to fight, even though obviously I'm ignoring that kind of thing. It sits very well with me that you don't have to fight. There's other ways to deal with what's going on than just fighting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be looking forward to seeing you again in my next episode, and I'll see you then, really. So thanks for watching again, and you know what to do if you want to support me. It's all in the, yeah, I've told you earlier, and of course there are some links in the description as well. So thanks for watching, and goodbye for now. Bye bye.